last week we had the IUL training on Monday, and then a handful of us flew out to Sean's Millionaire Maker event. Frank thought it would be great to have everyone that attended to that event get on the call tonight, kind of talk about what that event did for him and what we've learned. So Frank, I'll hand everything over to you, and me, Depot, obviously you, Kali, Jesse, Nick, we were all out there, man. I tell you what, it was a phenomenal event, but I'll turn it over to you, Frank, for anything else you want to add, and then we can talk about the event.
No, I think, yeah, it's huge because I actually talked to Sean this morning and I was like, dude, I've known Sean for 14 years. I've heard him speak for 14 years, but I've never heard him go into depth the way he did in Boca last week, which is pretty cool. Cause when you think about it, it's like, and he said this to me, he's like, dude, I really only speak ever for what, 15, 20, 30 minutes max, maybe 45. What am I going to get into in 30, 45 minutes? And I'm like, you're right. But he was excited. He was excited y'all were there. And guys, if you didn't get an invitation from me, I'm sorry. But the next one, which will be in October, I will invite everybody on here. And here's what I can say. Like, Dom's been around for 14 years, 13 years. Trey, were you at, I don't know if Trey was at NAA, but there were times where Sean be like, hey dude, like Maxwell, we're going to see Maxwell. I'm like, cool, how much? 10 grand. I'm like, huh? And for y'all that went and paid $2,500, let me tell you, Sean killed that. I don't know if anybody on here has ever been to a Maxwell event or another event where they charge you 10 grand to watch some guy speak who probably didn't build a business that you're in and will teach you exactly what you need to do in your business. But to me, it's priceless, and it's not about the money. Obviously, those rooms cost money and the food, and there were 3 tiers: 2,500, 5 grand, 10 grand. Now, 10 grand people got to spend extra time with Sean, take a ride on the yacht down to the Heat game, come back, ask him more questions. The crew that went with us, you also show that picture again, Mike.
I closed it. I don't have it.
Open up. Can you open it up? I'm gonna see I'm gonna see it. Like,
Here,
who on here? Dean, Nick, Depot, Jesse. Like, have y'all ever been on a private jet, or was that your first time?
First time.
First time, Depot.
First
Nick?
time.
First time for Jesse. What about you, Dean?
Dean wasn't there.
I wasn't a
that's
part
right.
of that.
Dean met us in Florida. My bad.
I met you guys down there, correct?
Dean probably has a private jet. As many annuities.
I wish.
But like that experience for y'all, I mean, it's how incredible was that to be able to take pictures and walk right through. Actually, we didn't walk through. We drove through a gate, pulled up about 15 feet from the jet, got out. Somebody took our luggage out of the trunk, put it on the plane. We walked our little happy asses inside, sat down, and we took off, right? There's no patting you down, walking through an X-ray machine, waiting in line, all this BS you have to deal with in an airport. So it was pretty cool. So for me, it was exciting to watch y'all get to do that I remember the first time that I got to do it. It was pretty exciting. So let's see who we're going to get to speak first. Who's been here the least amount of time?
Probably Nick.
Probably Nick. And Nick and Jesse, they were pretty close, but we'll start with Nick. That's fine. Nick, can you give us your top? Let's start with just give us your top thing that happened. And then we'll get through everybody and we'll see how much time we got.
And even just like you just said, like seeing the way people move, like at times sometimes you pay too much for Uber. You're like, God damn, you know what I mean? But then you get around people doing that and they got black trucks picking them up and they're flying and doing, you know what I mean? Like, it's just it just shifts your mind to see, like, when you think you're doing something, you ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, when you think you're like really working and you're doing, you maybe have to hop on a leaderboard or whatever, but it's like, man, there's guys moving at different levels, man. And just to be able to get around that energy and just see how they're not like, playing a zero-sum game, meaning, I can't give any information because if you win, I lose. It's like once you get around people moving at that level, man, they've already won. So all they want to do is give you information at that point. You know what I mean? But they want to give it to the bulls that are coming up after them that are going to take it and implement it, right? And just that way of living, it was just so that in and of itself, of course, that's prior to us even getting there, but getting there, like that, just a level of detail that Sean went over, man. So it's not like and I even kind of briefly touched on this at the IUL training. Like, there's so many events to where it's you'll go, they'll give you a little bit of fluff. There's not really much there, and then let's go to the back of the room, buy our $50,000 CRM, and then we'll see if we can plug you in type of deal. Like, this is not that. Like, you went into thorough detail of exactly what it takes, what it takes as far as mindset, what it takes as far as like strategy, what it takes as far as having a team, how to continue to, sow into them and feed into them and get them to move. And just, like, he was just able to give so much gems, and then also, of course, from the premise of he's done this multiple times. He's built in, look at my name, it says Deanna, that's so funny. He's built 3 companies with an exit, you know what I mean? With a successful exit, like, and that's not like, he said that, like, a lot of people have a tough time doing that once. He's done it 3 times. So it's like, how can you could just take everything that he says with face value and say, okay, like, he's not to the point to where he's like you said, $2,500. Like, dude, he's not doing it for the $2,500. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even like, I don't know if like he went over like what his monthly living expenses is, and it's like, you definitely know he's not doing it for $2,500 because it's not even going to put a drop into the pond, right? But just the fact that he's done it, and you can take what he says at face value, and everybody on this call, of course, knows that because he's our CEO and president of the company. So it was like it was just so much, man. I'm telling you, like, and then another thing I definitely want to say is his level of fearlessness, man, is like unreal. Like, talking about the plea agreement that he had to accept, and he was like, well, how long do I have to figure it out? This amount of time. All right, well, I'll figure it out by then. Like, that alone, dude, it was like, when people think that they got debt or whatever, you get a charge back or what, like, if you could hear, and I'm not going to say the numbers, Frank, I'll leave it up to you if you want to say that number. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, so I'm not going to say nothing. But just seeing the perspective of like the wins and losses in business, but at the end of the day, like, how if you don't quit, like, no matter what, it's going to be a successful outcome. Like, even that, like, that, when I heard that, I'm like, man, that would have probably, I don't know, dude, like, that would have been a big pill to swallow, man. And he's like, how long do I got to figure it out? Well, I don't know how I'm gonna figure it out, but I'll figure it out. And he figured it out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like incredible, man. So it's like, once you can see like that, like, again, it's such a strong proof of concept, man. It's like, it just makes you really like millionaire maker. And I think like that spiritual billionaire shirt I have on, begins with belief, and all that, like, that's real, man. Like, you gotta like visualize it. Oh, that's what it takes to get there. And it's just like it certainly did that for me, man.
What's funny about that, Nick, is in that lawsuit, there were, at that point in time, probably 40 people. And when he signed that settlement agreement, he took it all on himself.
So are you allowed to say how much it was for?
I can't remember. He told you can say it because.
Can I say it?
Huh? Yeah, you said
700 million, dude.
Yeah, okay. He took that all on the risk, all on himself. Like, we signed an agreement saying we're like not going anywhere. We weren't going anywhere anyway, but it was on him. You know what I mean? And that's like, dude, you don't find people like that in business very often that are willing to step out on a limb like that. And he absolutely did. When we left that last company, we got sued. He stepped out on a limb, felt like he took care of everything. Dom was involved in that. Like, and it was a 3-year process, bro. But he took care of everything. And he's just that way in business. And if he says he's gonna do something, he does it. So all right, let's get to Jesse. And then I'll try and get everybody at least twice, but let's get Jesse. What's up? You there?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Nice red shirt. I like red. Looks good on you, bro. All right, what you take out of that event? What was your favorite or your biggest, I guess, aha moment?
Can I say 2?
You can, as long as it's fast.
It's fast. Okay, so I think the biggest thing I took out of the meeting part was trust you. There was this kind of point of trusting yourself and making the moves that you need to make and know you should make, and doing it, because just like Nick said, that fearlessness, Sean is, has this sixth sense, but I think all the stuff he did, he never talked about anything that was like genius. He didn't talk about anything that was like he invented something. He didn't invent anything. He just did normal things in a different way or a better way or tweaked. But I thought that it was that idea of just trust yourself. You know what to do in all situations, just like you gotta, invest in that yourself, which connected to the idea you can't cut your way to success. There's a quote he said, you can't cut your way to success. And I think that we do that with ourselves. But the other thing, it wasn't really that I took away, but it was that made the meeting so powerful, is the meeting before the meeting during the breaks of the meeting, and the meeting after the meeting. We actually have something that's not like fully launched yet, but like we're working through it, that is going to be a game changer for IULs. I mean, it's going to get people paid astronomically faster, and all the things that we've talked about of people having to be it takes a 3-month ramp up. A lot of that is going to get compressed really quick. That all happened because of a conversation after a portion of the meeting. If we hadn't been in that meeting, and that literally, I have already made back my money in simplified issue from this meeting since that meeting. That's the power of these type of things. You're on mute, Frank.
Good. I'm glad I'm muted because I just was cussing. I'm so excited. All right, Depot.
Yes. I mean, for me, I think the meeting was very humbling. Sometimes you feel like you're doing pretty well, but when you get in a room with people who are doing 3 times better than you, you have to be humble. And I got the chance to hear people who are investing massively in their business. And there was something that Sean said that I took note of. He said people move because of the fear of loss. Right. And when I look at my story, where I came from, years ago to where I am today, not having a 9-to-5 job, but having 3 kids and a wife, I have to do what I have to do to grind to make it to where I am today. When you look at people like Sean, literally everybody that was there achieved whatever success they've achieved so far because they were grinders. Right. And I feel like a lot of people who are not as successful as they want to be is mainly because there's nothing to lose yet, right? You maybe still have your 9-to-5 job, you have a guaranteed income. So if this doesn't work, you have a plan B. But I think we got to get to that point where this is the plan A, this is the plan B, and this must work, I wrote that down. The biggest thing that I also took away was he said that people will follow you because of your production, right? And to me, what that simply meant is that people follow successful people. Right. The only reason why, by God's grace, I was in that room was because I was producing, not because of the attention, but number one, the fear of loss. And number two, I just wanted to prove that I have what it takes to be successful. You know what I mean? You look at people like Nick and Jesse and, all these other guys, it's not because they're special. And I always tell my team the same thing. Like, there is absolutely nothing special about anybody on this call. The only difference is that some people are willing to invest in their business and grind it out, and some people just treat it like a hobby. And what I saw in that room was a group of people who treated this like a business and not like a job. I was just talking to Frank, a couple of minutes ago, and you guys might have seen this guy, Eric Bosworth. This dude invests $400,000 every month in his business. 2 years ago, he came into FFL and he was broke. When I say broke, I mean somebody had to actually sponsor him to fly out to wherever he had to get into the business. So when I heard that like 2 years ago, dude, you were just broke. And today you're running a multi-million-dollar agency, like one of the biggest in the industry. So to me, that proves that anybody can actually scale this business and become successful. Number one, do you believe you have what it takes? Number two, are you willing to put in the work to make it happen? And for me, just coming out of that event, I'm extremely fired up. Normally, I probably wouldn't have paid to go that type of event because I'm making a little bit of money, but I'm still frugal, bro. Like I'm still frugal, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. Frank actually pushed the button to get me out of my comfort zone, right? Because paying $2,500 for an event, that's rent money, But I did it, and I'm glad I did it. Very well worth it, and I'm pumped for the next one. So let's get it.
Thank you, Depot.
Hey, can I ask a question, dude? While you're on that, Depot and
Yeah.
Frank, because this
Yeah.
is good stuff, and I appreciate you being so transparent, Depot.
No
What
doubt.
was that button that Frank pushed, and how did that work out?
For me, I think it was just the consciousness. I get to sit down with the founder, the president of the company. Like, I don't think people understand what that actually means. Like, I was on a jet, literally sitting next to the man, right? I was in the room with the man and other top producers. If you've ever been with, I'm gonna just put the names out, I don't care, WFG, PHP, PFA, whatever, there is no way you're gonna be sitting on the same plane with the president of, you can't even get in the same room with some of the top leaders. You know what I mean? So for me, when I saw that I get to pick his brain and I'm sitting next to him asking questions, I was like, man, forget. As a matter of fact, he dropped one gem on a jet. Nick didn't pick this up because we were all together, but I'm always thinking business. He dropped one gem. I said, oh man, it's a fire, bro. I'm definitely doing this. You know what I mean? So now, I know Jesse, who said they got their money back. Trust me, I'm getting 10 times more than that, bro. You know what I mean? But that's due to the fact that I took the chances to do what I have to do, get in the same room, and now look, everything is gravy.
Hell yeah. Thank you for that, man. Because I know there's a lot of us, dude, we're in that spot. Whether you have it or don't have it, we all think the same as it pertains to what we don't know is on the other side.
Facts.
So what you guys are sharing with us are things that nobody would ever know was on the other side. And you can't put a dollar amount on it. So appreciate it, brother.
And Dom, we're gonna pack that. We're gonna pack that room next event, legit. Because do Sean long enough? Like, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, dude, is he really gonna invest time with you? Like, not really. Now, again, a lot of you, I didn't invite a lot of you, so that's on me. I didn't, but trust me, next one for sure. It'll be a text message. Many of them going out to everybody. So, Kyle Lee, you there?
I am here.
Hi, Kyle Lee.
Hi, Frank. Everybody took my stuff. So, so for me, and I was going to speak to a little bit of what Depot just said, what Dom just said too. When you asked me, Frank, when Frank asked me, and I just said yes. I didn't know it was a cost involved. Frank said, "Do you need to be there?" And I said, "I'm there," right? And then I was like, "Oh shit." Right. But the thing that I realized, and I'm gonna just be honest, because I was like, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know that it cost, right? And then when I found out it did cost, I was like, man, I didn't, but I had already committed. So because I committed to Frank, I gotta go forward with it. And so what I had to do, Frank, is I had to kind of change my mindset about it. And I'm gonna go here with an open mind. I'm gonna go here with gratefulness. Because how many people in their life, and I started thinking about where I came from, right? There for 6.5 years. And like Depot said, never had the opportunity to even, like, I met the president and shook his hand, but that was pretty much it, right? Sean, even, and the other thing I left away with, Sean is a regular dude, right? I was surprised when we got in the truck to go to the airport from Dallas. He was driving. And I said, I'm gonna tell the story that I got driven by the CEO of Family First Life. Like, that's something to tell. But just being thankful and grateful to be able to have that experience, number one, because most people in their lives will never get the opportunity to fly on a private jet. They'll never get the opportunity to be able to talk to business people that have this kind of business acumen. And then just being in the room, like I paid to be in the room with other leaders and other people that are doing way better than me. And even just hanging out with Nick and Jesse and Depot, picking their brains and learning from them and getting feedback and stuff from them on how I can get better. Like, that is priceless. And so, and most people, unfortunately, they probably look at this price tag like, oh no, I ain't doing that. You don't know what meeting you can miss because you don't know where I knew Frank said I need to be there. And there's no question if I needed to be there or not. And I wish more people would have that attitude, just being super coachable. Your coach said, this is what you need to do and do it. Like, I didn't hesitate. I said, I'm there. And then, like I said, and I found out the price tag a little bit later. So being in the room, connecting, networking, like that's priceless and it's invaluable. It's worth way more than $2,500.
I agree 1,000,000%, Collie, and I'm proud. I'm proud of you. Proud of all of y'all that went, because it's not what we do, but it's important, because why should everybody get what y'all have the ability to get for nothing? Like, you can't get to the top easy. It's like I've never climbed the mountain. Let's try something else. Yeah, lifting weights. Like, you don't start off benching 405. Like, you start off benching like 160, and then you go up a little 5 pounds at a time every other week, and then you get there and it all hurts. It sucks. But I think more of us need to get that uncomfortable. And I think a lot of us, Collie, like, I grew up, my mom was cheap. Some people call it frugal, and I freaking hated it. Like, I hated it. So I vowed to never be that way. But a lot of people, that's instilled in them. Like, oh, you're going to spend that? What? Like, I just spent $2,500 just to fly on a plane with him. Forget the event. I just spent $2,500 back in the day just to fly around with him. So, but that's what we're taught for 15, 20, 30, 40, 45 years. And then you get around folks like FFL people, and you got to break that mindset of really broke thinking. Because if we're all going to get, like, it's $2,500, stop. You could do that in 3 hours of work. I mean, Jesse, how much did you write? You already got your $2,500 back by what time this morning? Like 11 a.m.?
No, the day we got back.
The day you got back.
My first deal, doing it how we kind of are evolving, paid for the trip.
Pay for the trip. It's like, but people go, I can't. It's what if? Like, my goal and my hope and prayer for all of y'all is that y'all start looking at Jesse and Nick and Kali and Depot and Dean and Mike and start going like, dude, if these guys and girls can do it, why can't I? They're not. I'm better than them. I can do what they do. I can do it better. And that's not cockiness. That's an attitude everybody should have. I damn well know Dom has that attitude. When Dom sees anybody do something, he's like, dude, I could beat them. He's a competitor. He's an absolute competitor. I know Dean's a competitor. Just how it works. Oh, let's bring Dean on, because Dean was there. He wasn't on the jet, but he flew down and met us in Boca, which is even better.
I flew first class, so
There you go.
Oh man. So here's the thing. I'm gonna give you guys a quick story. I don't want to take up too much time. So I've been here since December of 2017. I've been in several private meetings with Sean. Fun fact, I was one of the individuals in 2019 that I drove to New Jersey to be in a meeting with Sean when he was about to get acquired by Integrity. He made that announcement. I was there. Frank, you were there, right? Yep. I was there as well. I don't know why I was there. He picked me. He wanted me to be there. He appreciated everything I was doing with the company, everything, which was great. So I've seen his speeches hands-on outside of the big stage, but this was really something. And here's what really reminded me of how this business is. There are no guarantees in this business except your work ethic. All right. Your guarantee is basically get leads, go to work, and make a killing of income and residual income on the back end, and help as many people get there alongside with you. You can't do it by yourself. We talked a lot about these past 2 days when we were down there. He talked a lot about team effort, learning about individuals, what to look for, what not to look for. Are there a good fit for your business, and so forth. And what's cool too, Frank, is it wasn't just FFL agents. We had a guy from real estate, commercial real estate, a guy that had an auto glass company that he was looking to learn, several other people in different other, avenues. It wasn't just FFL. So to me, seeing that and learning more about Sean, honestly, I never knew he had a waste management business. I never knew he sold this giant real estate mongoon of a business and had money sitting that he was able to start FFL. I never knew that. I just knew that he worked at company A, hated it there, and they sucked, that he came over here and started from scratch.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see that perspective with an individual. And I'll tell you guys this, I've been here just a little less than Frank and Dom and Trey, pretty close. But once you really get to know Sean and really earn his like trust, like he can be on speed dial waiting for you if you need anything from him like that. I can't tell you how many times I can proudly say he's never ignored my calls. He calls me back. He's always trying to fix things as fast as possible, and he owns up to all of it. That's the leadership that we all can duplicate from him. I don't care what the reviews say on Google. I don't care who says what. I know who Sean is because I gotten to know him the last 6 going on 7 years in this business. And to me, the event was so special because you learn all these different tools of the trade, how to get better. Sorry, it's raining. It's like being on my roof over here. But just understand that there are no guarantees in this business except your work ethic. So how bad do you want it? How badly do you want to get out of the slump to get ahead? Use everybody that's top producer, Jesse, Depot, Nick, myself, everybody else, and push yourself against us and outperform us. I'm waiting for more people to outperform us because it's that easy to make a living here in this company and then reinvest it and move on into the next step of it. So I look forward to the next one. I'm in. I'm signing up right now. Send a link. I'll do it right now. I mean, I love these sort of things. They're powerful. They're really, really powerful and motivating.
Damn right.
Yep.
Damn right. Thank you, Dean. Mike, what you got, bud?
I've known Sean for a long time, and I've been around him, a lot over the years. But this event was definitely something that I think was eye opening. I've seen people that have been here and have left, and they said, the company never talks about, profitability and how to build a business. And I'll share a couple of slides that we took when we were there, and these were some of the things that we went over in this class. Like these are pictures of the slides that we went over in class, and this stuff is absolutely amazing. So he was basically teaching and telling everyone what they needed to do to build a business to make it sellable, and that was the purpose of this entire 2-day event. I mean, look at the things that we went over, and I took a lot more slides in this. So anyone, next time an event like this goes on, I would definitely recommend you get there because it was very powerful. It was very eye-opening. When we heard this agent talking and what Jesse kind of alluded to earlier about what they were doing with IULs, the event was great, yes, but it's always the people that you meet at the events that mean sometimes more than the event. And it's like, I looked at Jesse, I looked at Nick, and then like a light bulb went off and we all said at the same time, like, what the hell are we doing? We can make what we're doing 100 times better. I text Frank immediately, and Frank was like, what are you talking about? And, went into a little bit. He was like, all right, well, let's talk about it. But having the ability and having the leads in the system that we have, but just making one simple tweak that will get everyone paid so much faster, and us have the ability to hire people and get them paid within 5 days rather than 90 days is a game changer. And it was massive. And already, if you saw this weekend, Jesse and Nick already implemented it, and it was that powerful. And it was just being around different people and being able to talk to different people that do what we do that honestly is going to change everything that we're doing. We have the perfect leads. We have the perfect system. We just needed to make one small tweak that, because we were there, we will change everything that we're doing, and it's going to benefit so many people. And when I look at this number, and people do it every week, right? We had 181 when we started. We're down at 167. People do it all the time. They'll jump off of these calls early because everyone is waiting to hear some magic. And there is never one magic thing that we all hear. It's all those little things. But when people aren't plugged in and not involved, I think you miss out on so much. So yeah, that next event I would definitely go to. It's that important. So if you ever have an opportunity to go, I would definitely highly recommend it. But only invest the $2,500 ago if you're already investing in your business. Please, by all means, if you're doing $5,000 or $10,000 a month, take your money and put it in the leads and get your numbers up. Don't spend it to go to an event. So let's do that first.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they wanted to share? Okay. I mean, and Mike, what somebody's asked, like, please share the secret. And you can go ahead and say it. Like,
oh, it's all of us. If you go, everyone in here should be in Discord. But if you're in Discord, how many $1,800 NLG policies do you see? How many 2,400? how many $3,600 NLG policies are F&G? I mean, what they're doing in some of these other groups is basically anything less than $300 should be going simplified issue. So I know that Depot's going to come on and give a training coming up here on how to use WinFlex. If you're not using WinFlex, it's something that you should be using. But we have a lot of brand new agents that come in here and they're writing, they're just seeing all that NLG and then they're duplicating that. It's honestly the wrong thing to do. That business that we're submitting to F&G, to North American, to NLG, 70% of that total business should be flipped to simplified issue. It should not be going fully underwritten. One, it's taking people way too long to get paid, and two, we're jamming up them. And so the legitimate policies that are there are taking forever to close because we're throwing a bunch of nonsense to those other carriers. So the secret is ethos too. Yes, Franklin.
Yeah, it's definitely ethos, because you don't even need to know how to have a document signed. It's just you change the pay to max cash, minimum death benefit. No DocuSign needed, no illustration signed. So it's just
Pop-up
ethos is so
blockers.
simple. Pop-up blockers, yeah. I mean, but yeah,
$300 or less should be simplified issue.
all day long.
We have way too much stuff going fully underwritten. It's honestly hurting people. And we need to go back to what we do and what we were built on, and that's simplified issue business. There's going to be some people, yes, that can put $1,500 a month, and maybe those should go fully underwritten. But the secret is 300 or less definitely should be going simplified issue, and people should be getting paid in 2 or 3 days, not taking 3 months for this ramp up period. And we have the perfect leads to do it.
That's on us. We like
it is.
I thought we knew. Like I thought that was known, right? And you assume something, make an ass out of you and me. So I assumed everybody knew if a policy's under 300, you go simplified issue. Like that's the rule of thumb. But we're going to start teaching more on that, because you're right. You shouldn't be waiting longer than a week to get paid on anything that's under $300 a month. And you're right. If you got somebody that's putting in a bunch of money, get them fully underwritten policy. They're going to get a better long-term rate on their return on their money, but they don't need it for something under $300.
Well, it tells me that this current system that we have is built for this. Jamie, someone texted Jamie and I the other day and said the majority of my leads make under 80 grand a year. All right, there should be a ton of IULEs and ethos business, and we should take those leads and do what we do, and let's get people paid fast. All this damn NLG and F&G, it has got to stop immediately, because we need people coming in here to get paid, not submitting $1,800 fully underwritten policies. This should not be the way it is.
Well, and I want to be clear, Mike. The most important thing of that is to make sure you're changing the solve to minimum
min-max
cash accumulation. Like you have to do this for the clients, because I can tell you these companies, Ethos, NLG, F&G, like they're looking at illustrations, because if you're doing it any other way but that, and 99% of these clients are looking for cash accumulation, if you're doing it any other way other than minimum death benefit, no, not easy solve. No, like that's bad.
Let's answer her question the proper way, because we're talking about if someone is asking for tax-free retirement, not easy solve. But if we're just doing straight life insurance, easy solve. So she's a new.
And I mean, if you're running, you could, and again, like we're gonna do a training on simplified issued IULs for sure. And it has to be, in fact, Mike, let's do it next Monday. Let's get on, Depot, a couple of the other guys that are doing the simple SI IULs, because it is situational. Like for a mortgage protection plan, you could do I guess an easy solve, but you could also do a max cash accumulation and pay the house off early. There's a lot of different things you can do. But for me, most of these clients that we're getting on the IUL leads are looking for some sort of cash accumulation. Correct, Mike?
Our IUL leads 100%, but even
sure.
Jesse talked to someone, and the guy, and it's about asking questions. Jesse had a guy where all he cared about was a death benefit. That's a straight easy solve. So you have to know the question. You have to know what questions to ask people. And if it is, for mortgage protection, that would be the easy solve, because if you take it off easy solve and go max cash, then you're reducing the death benefit. So if it's mortgage, we want a bigger death benefit because we're trying to pay the household. But it's about asking the right questions and knowing what to run. But on our leads, it's primarily cash accumulation. That is min-max is what we need to do. But it's about knowing, what questions to ask and how to run it. So.
Hey, Mike, I have an idea. When we do the training next week for this, let's get that girl in here as a guest, because she came from a, whatchamacall, timeshare business.
Yeah.
Timeshare. Her and her team sold 35 million in timeshares. And she came in here. She's already over 200 grand in less than 3 months on simplified issue with FFL. I looked at the leaderboard just the other night. And all she does is one call closes on those IUL leads.
Send me her number so I can call her, Dean.
Yep, I'll put you in a 3-way group text for her. But she's very thorough with certain words. Because I guess in timeshare, you learn the different, approach with language and psychology of the sale with mindset, how people think about certain words. She used a lot of that stuff to her advantage to persuade the client to just do business right then and there and not do any appointments, no follow-ups on the spot.
Yeah, send me her number. I'll give her a call. Frank, I'll just make sure she's doing the right thing before we put her in front of everyone.
For sure. And again, we got plenty of qualified people on this call too as well. It's just a matter of making that mental shift and everybody knowing like under $300, we're going to go simplified, under $300 simplified, under $300 simplified. It's not that complicated. The most important thing is running the illustrations properly. And again,
what we need to have on, Frank, is let's get Andrew's brother on from Ethos.
Nick. Yeah.
And let's
get him on,
because I don't think we're not doing half as much Ethos as we're doing. Moo is great. But if you take it off Easy Solve, then you have to have a signed illustration using DocuSign, and it might be a little bit more complicated for people. So learning Ethos, we're not writing nearly as much Ethos as we should. So we need to have him.
100%. Yeah, I'll call him. Right. I'll reach out to him, see if he can get on next week too.
The other thing that we're doing is we're creating a cheat sheet. So just like we had the final expense cheat sheet, just like we have the term cheat sheet, we have an IUL simplified issue cheat sheet. Getting ready to come out. So we're just tightening that up with all the leaders just to make sure that we have everything ready to go. So that way there isn't any confusion as to which way should I take this person or where the best place is to take this person. So
can you just, Jamie, call for risk assessment and drag that all the way down?
Well, for simplified.
Well, for simplified, Americo and Mutual use the same underwriting as their term product. It's identical, so there's no confusion on that one. If you already have it, you can copy the same exact thing.
100%.
Same thing
It'll
with
just be all in one nice neat spot.
Yep, it's a good idea.
Yeah, we need more Ethos.
For sure.
Ethos will win you a car. Trust me, I know.
Well, and guys, like I've been around Sean for 14 years, and I understand when he's trying to push a carrier. And it's not like you're going to get like none of these carriers are leaps and bounds above another. I don't like there's something if one's got this, the other one has that, like they're all about equal. Yep. Okay. But there's a reason he's pushing Ethos. And I don't ask, I just do what he asks. So we're going to push it because it's what the company is leaning towards. I know a lot of it has to do with Mutual and some of the stuff they've done and not done with that. And also their e-apps a pain in the ass. Pardon my French, but you got pop-up blockers and it's just not as simple. So I think that's part of the reason we're trying to get them to make changes. So we kind of push the carriers that FFL wants to push, and right now it's Ethos. So
yeah, so meeting was great, and I think it's definitely going to be a game changer. I've seen like that young kid Anthony. I don't know if he's on here. Like I saw him do an 1800 NLG. We just got to get away from that stuff. It's definitely hurting the newer people. We got to get people paid fast. And we can
somebody asked if Ethos is a simplified issue. So I'll tell you right now, it is. However, if there's something on their records, they will request an APS from the doctor, which can delay the underwriting process. But it's very rarely. It's like a 20% thing out of everything you apply. They're very direct, immediate, yes or no. And if you do an immediate draft, you get a deposit the next day. There is no delay. It's literally the next day you get a routable statement from them and you get a deposit, you're ready to go. So you can reinvest and get more leads and keep working with them.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. I'm
heck no.
Shoot, it was Friday. I think I saw Jesse and Nick each do 5,000. I mean, it's 10 grand simplified. It was either on Friday or Saturday, which is huge. So we definitely need to do more of that and get things moving a heck of a lot faster.
For sure.
Yep.
All right. I think you'll wrap it up, Mike.
Awesome. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Every Monday at 6 o'clock. Everyone have a great week.